It's just past midnight and I really should sleep. But I want to get this thought off my head because it'll be easier to sleep once I just, part of the reason I blurt so much stuff online is because if it stays in my head, it just circles. Whereas if I can get it out, it helps release whatever. So anyway, no, what I'm thinking about. So that day that I filmed the that ominous question, my future plans video, I was doing okay at the time actually, despite how morbid that got. But later in the day, Mum raised the topic of my birthday, which, traditionally is not a good day for me. I did go through a few years where it got better. I think mainly when I was on antidepressants and doing more band stuff. Yeah, so I did okay for a while. But now it's no, this year I'm just like, I suppose it's a trauma thing, like knowing about having childhood trauma, having frustrating incidents with my parents. It's just sort of thrown me back to those shit feelings about my birthday. Because I still live in the same situation, my psychologist was saying I'm probably being re-traumatized quite a lot, which, yeah, makes sense. Because I am still dealing with a lot of the same bullshit, a lot of the same expectations, a lot of the same treatment. Just, the progress my parents made is just kind of pathetic. But anyway, re-traumatized, so a lot of these issues come up. I think I did okay for a bit in part because I just forgot about a lot of stuff. And I when I was younger, I did have issues with my parents, but I couldn't really place what it was. And then, when I was on antidepressants, when I was doing band stuff and things were working out, things went okay for a bit. It's hard to keep my thoughts straight because I'm really actually quite tired. I didn't get my morning nap properly because Dad managed to stress me out, and the cortisol, I suppose, kept me awake. Anyway, so I did okay with my parents for a bit. I think, though COVID, because I used to go to lunch with Mum, and this is not where the video was supposed to go when I started filming it, but, before COVID, Mum and I would go to lunch maybe once a week. Then COVID hit, and then after that she became a gym junkie, so we haven't done that, so we haven't had that work done on the relationship. And yeah, I'm the one who has to suggest it if we ever do anything, and that's one of the problems I had with friends as well, is I felt like I was always the one who had to suggest stuff. But anyway, and if that's the case, why bother? I'm tired of why am I the one who always has to do shit? Anyway, relationship was okay for a bit, but then, yeah, not anymore. Especially since I figured out all this trauma stuff and, processing trauma, having not escaped the situation that gave it to me in the first place. I realize is actually not a good idea, but if I hadn't figured it out, I'd still be doing the same thing of why am I like this? Anyway, how long have I been rambling? 4 minutes. Okay, well, back to the point. So I'm being re-traumatized. This whole thing about my birthday comes up again, and that's often been an issue. I've talked before about how my parents are shit at getting gifts. And the one that sticks in my mind the most was when Dad got me the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is not my vibe at all. It's his vibe. It's what he enjoyed when he was a kid, and just completely oblivious to anything about me and where I was was at, and it was really bad. I did not react well. And I think, like, when I moved in with my ex, I took, like, books like that. I think I took quite a lot of my collection to his place. And when I moved back home, I left Lord of the Rings with my ex because I'm like, I cannot have that with me. I do not want that with me anymore. So I leave bad memories with bad memories. Anyway, like, it was a nice set if you were into that, but no, I just couldn't have that with me, so I left it with him. Anyway, so, I mean, I think this is after Mum had been working on her computer, ignoring me for a bit because, stressing about Mikey's carers and organising their holidays and whatever. And then she finally talks to me and says, "Oh, your birthday's coming up." And I'm like, "Oh no." Because I don't know what I want. The only things I want, they can't give me. Like being a better parent, giving me emotional support, treating me more fairly, especially compared to Mikey, my disabled brother. Anyway, wow, midnight is really not a good time to make a video, especially when I'm this tired, because I usually go to bed by midnight now, so I'm just not conditioned to stay awake. Like, even when I was staying awake till 2, I was pretty out of it by the time 2 came up, but now I'm even more tired at midnight. Bloody hell. Sometimes at 1 I would be pretty awake. Anyway, I thought she was going to ask me what do I want, or just offer to give me money, because that's usually what happens. But this year, she has a suggestion, and her amazing suggestion is to get a small freezer for Triton's frozen stuff. I'm pretty sure from her perspective, it looks like I'm doing well because I have this dog, and she's hoping that me getting a new dog has fixed me and now I'm fine, which is absolutely not the case. I've not been doing well. I just, I'm good at compartmentalizing. I do the whole dog mum voice, which I think you've heard in some of my dog videos. It's an automatic thing. I don't really have control over it. Maybe this is like dissociation, autopilot, whatever. And like, I can't be grumpy to the dog. He's a baby. I'm trying to raise him the right way so that if he doesn't have trauma and he has a fun childhood. So I'm being a better parent than my own parents. Anyway. It probably looks to her like when I'm playing with him like I'm happy, but actually I'm often really tired and I'm just trying to play it up so he'll stay excited. Dogs are really easy. You make your voice high-pitched and they're like, "Oh my god, exciting." Anyway, and so she probably thinks that getting stuff for the dog will make me happy, which, no. And I already looked into the mini freezers, and they tend to be expensive vanity things. Like, a lot of them have glass window things to show off your ice creams, and they cost a lot. And it's just like, also, like, we don't have space for it. And I already looked into this. And I'm also, still getting the hang of, like, what do I even feed him? What do I need to keep in the freezer? So I keep, every now and then I'll overdo it, and then I've got stuff in the freezer for, like, a month. And I'm like, whoops, that was a bit too much. I'll buy less next time. Anyway, so it's not really a gift for me, because I don't have, like, I genuinely don't have that same emotional connection that I did with Hope. I no longer experience the same kind of excitement that I did when I had, my Allie as a puppy and also Hope as a puppy. Like, I just don't have those same emotions anymore. My mental health has gotten that bad. And I'm just much more detached as I've gotten older. So, like, he's a good dog, and I'm trying to be fair to him, and I would like to feel more. And I think subconsciously I probably do, I just don't have the conscious feeling of it. Anyway, so, you know, to get me a freezer for him, it just doesn't make me feel anything. Now, it also feels like it's more of a gift for him because it's his stuff. It's not really my stuff. Like, yeah, I'm the one looking after him, but I'm trying to figure out what's the best thing for him. And if that happens to be frozen stuff, then that's what I'm going to do. It's not like I'm choosing it, really. It's more like I'm problem solving, and this is where we're at with the problem solving process. So it's kind of more for him. I don't feel like I get any benefit from it. But actually, it's not even for him. Because when you think about it, why is she suggesting a freezer? It's because his stuff is taking up freezer space. Freezer space that my parents are used to. Now, they did agree to the dog. They were aware that he was a bit different. They knew that at least in the beginning we would use freezer space because he was on Leica, because that's what the breeder had, and you should always stay on the breeder's food until you can wean them off more slowly. And, you know, the amount of space has shrunk over time as I've changed to different things. But really, like, there's still freezer space. I'm still able to do what I need to do to look after him. He's still able to have his frozen stuff. He doesn't need a new freezer. What my parents really want is more freezer space for themselves. They are finding it inconvenient. They want to get me a freezer because it'll benefit them. That's really what's going on here. And, you know, a lot of that logic happened very quickly in my brain when I was listening to it, because I'm like, a freezer? What the fuck? I've already got freezer space. I didn't say that or anything, you know, I just told her I've looked into it. They seem like expensive garbage, and we don't have any. I asked it, where would we put this? Where would you put this? Because we don't have space for a random freezer. And if she's not thinking of the really mini ones that I saw, then she's thinking of something bigger, which is going to take up too much space somewhere. And he doesn't need that much freezer space. Honestly, it's like just the end section. Anyway, it's really a gift for them, not for me, not for Triton. And I remember feeling insulted. And then the more I think about it, you know, it digs into those old wounds of my birthday and my parents being absolutely clueless. And I don't think she realizes how hurtful it is. Like, I have figured out what the real motivation is. I know it's not a gift for me. I don't think she realizes that. She might not even realize that it's a gift for her, not me. She might genuinely think she's being helpful, but that's not actually what's happening. You know, she's been like, oh, this is an inconvenience. And she also told me, like, you know, there's not enough space for stuff. And, you know, like, for example, my bread can't go in the freezer. Like, there's less space for my bread in the freezer. I don't know why they don't keep putting it in the freezer instead of keeping one in the fridge. Like, it's not like it goes off that quickly. We've currently got some bread in the fridge. Anyway, and she said, oh, I have to go shopping more. That's still about her. Like, I mean, yeah, okay, it's bread that I mostly eat, but it's not like, you know, Mikey also has it sometimes, so there's that. And, you know, if it's a real fucking problem, I'll just buy my own fucking bread. Bread doesn't cost that much. I can go and get it. It's not a big deal, but you want to buy a whole fucking freezer for it. But yeah, just the lack of recognition that what's really going on is she doesn't like something, which is the small amount of space in the freezer that Triton stuff takes up. And she thinks that solving that problem is a benefit for me, when actually it's more about her and Dad. And, like, it's such a sterile thing to get someone. Like, if I had moved out and I was trying to set up a new place and I didn't have a freezer, sure, practical stuff I can actually use. But in terms of my birthday and, like, you know, child me being told that birthdays are so great and everyone's happy on their birthday and you get a fucking freezer. it's such a soulless gift. And the thing is, like, with gift giving, I haven't really been like this year because I've really been struggling with my perception of my parents now that I know how much I've been screwed over. You know, they're not intentionally. I don't believe they've done it intentionally, but they don't get it. I mean, am I protecting them too much by saying that? I don't know. But, you know, now that I know how much I've been screwed over, and I can also see them not really wanting to engage with my attempt at recovery. You know, mum never came to the therapy session. She just chickened out completely, and dad just only came out of anger and only because he thought it'd fix me. He didn't think that, it didn't occur to him that he has to be part of the process and do things himself. It was all about me being the one to do all the work. You know, that kind of stuff where they're not really working on supporting me emotionally. It's all just physical stuff and putting a little bit less pressure on me. That's about as far as we've gotten. And so and then, you know, every now and then there'll be some kind of conflict. And especially if I show negative emotions, mum really doesn't like that. And it's like I get punished in a way. And then dad, it's more likely to be some kind of argument over something stupid. And, you know, he jumps to antagonistic. He jumps to, like, that sort of antagonistic stance real fast. Like, you know, he'll ask me to do something, and if I don't immediately do it or question something about it, it's straight away I'm the selfish one, and, you know, that's the general feeling. And so he'll jump to an argument pretty quickly. Like this morning, which is why I ended up stressed, because he wanted to go to the gym and leave Mikey potentially with a gap in his care because he was worried about the next carer being late, and then dumping it on me while I'm still trying to look after this dog and trying to look after myself. Anyway, you know, like, what would they do without me to fill those gaps? You know, even I do very little these days, but I still do stuff for Mikey's care, and it's just like, yeah, I don't really feel appreciated. And I certainly don't get enough care for myself. Anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, the birthdays thing. Yeah, no, look, so this year, I can't remember what happened, but I think because I was, like, you know, trying to train Triton, he's very energetic, and so trying to, like, calm him down and get the training, it was a bit of a struggle earlier on, especially because my parents just, like, are not on the same page. You know, you need everyone, like, to train a dog well, you need everyone in the household to agree to, like, the same dog rules, and it's just impossible with my parents. And when I was raising issues, they tell me I'm a know-it-all, and I'm like, excuse me, who has gone and read all the fucking ebooks the breeder set out? Who's the only one going to puppy classes and talking to the trainer and getting advice? Me. Who's the one watching videos about dog training? Me. They're not doing anything. Of course I know more than them about dog training, and I also have more of an instinct. Like, I pay more attention to the dogs than they do. And they want to call me a know-it-all. Yes, I know more than my parents about dog training. Are they surprised? And then, like, you know, oh, he doesn't bite you. No shit, because I'm training the dog how you're supposed to, and if you listen to me, maybe he wouldn't bite you either, like that kind of, Anyway, so I think probably earlier in the year, mum was kind of, like, you know, I talked about maybe getting the dog trainer to come to us if my parents don't want to go to the puppy class. And mum really didn't like that. Anyway, I think that was probably the beef. Maybe there was some other shit, I don't remember. But I almost didn't get anything for mum for Mother's Day and her birthday. But, you know, which one came first? Mother's Day, I think. And so my brother, who's moved out, and his girlfriend, they came over for like a dinner or something. It was either lunch or dinner, I don't know. And there was an exchange of gifts. And I'm like, well, I have to have some kind of gift there. So, you know, like this year I put in less effort. I still got things that I, you know, surprised mum and that I know she'd like. And also she's Japanese. I can't get away with not participating in the gift culture. She says she doesn't want anything, but she does. And yeah, having that dinner, if I turn up without something, like socially, it's not going to go down. And, you know, mum does the whole thing about pretending she wasn't expecting anything. But really, I'm like the gift ninja. So apart from this year, where I've been putting less effort in, and also I have more expenses with the dog, but you know, it's mostly emotional. I'm putting less effort. But I've developed a bit of a reputation and a bit of a skill for figuring out what someone likes for their birthday, particularly family members. Like, I pay attention throughout the year, I pick up on things, and I've gotten really good at getting good gifts, and it surprises them, and they like it, and cool. But to be able to buy someone a good gift, like, you have to do that. You have to pay attention to what they actually like, and you have to know them well enough, and you have to put in that sort of effort. My parents do not do that with me. They don't watch my YouTube videos. That's how I can talk like this, because I know they're not going to give a shit to watch my stuff. They don't really know what I do all day. They don't really know what I'm interested in. They don't really know how things are going with me. They don't know my emotional state, because I'm very good at, like, just not showing that. If I show them emotion, you know, if I'm crying or whatever, it means it's really bad. They have no clue how badly I'm doing. You know, maybe some days I'll be a little bit less patient and I could seem grouchy. That's about as much as they'll see usually. And at that point, I'm usually doing pretty bad already to show even that. So they just have no clue, and they don't show any interest either. They don't really ask questions. Occasionally Dad will ask some kind of question, but it's like, it doesn't feel like he actually gives a shit, and it feels like, you know, he's just looking for something to say, like how people sort of comment on the weather because they don't know what else to talk about. And, you know, I know he's not going to sit around trying to understand enough of what I want to talk about, and then if it's something he's interested in, he'll talk over me, and just, you know, what's the point in sharing my opinion? So yeah, my parents don't really know anything about me, so of course they don't know what to buy me as a gift. They don't know how to give me anything, and really, as I said before, the only thing I really want from them is to fucking fix this shit so that I don't feel like this. You know, all the emotional crap, the trauma crap, and they don't seem capable of that. So, anyway, I don't know, 20 minutes, it's not too bad. That's not too bad for a half-conscious ramble. But yeah, I was thinking about birthdays and shit. And actually, I think all this started off with some other thought. Oh, yeah, no, what actually started me thinking about this, and then I went back to think about the birthdays, is just how fucked up my childhood was. I don't know why I was thinking of this, but, like, as a kid, so this is not to do with the parents directly, like, the fact that I saw seizures from a really young age, like, as far back as I can remember, seeing my brother Mikey having seizures and knowing at a very young age what to do. I used my Tamagotchi to time his seizures at a bowling alley one time because my parents had gone on ahead, hadn't noticed him having the seizure. These are like proper seizures, like I think they call them grand mal seizures. Not like absent seizures or anything. This is the full-on shaking, moaning, whatever ones. And so, you know, they'd gone on ahead. They hadn't seen this. And I got my Tamagotchi out to time it, because if it goes over 5 minutes, you got to ring an ambulance. And, you know, having to put him on his side and all this kind of shit. And I'm just like, as a kid, I don't think I panicked ever. I was just like, oh, here we go, gotta do the things. Yeah, and, you know, just thinking about schizoid stuff and how I got this way and how, like, you know, not reacting to with panic or anything, or not really having any emotions upon seeing someone having a seizure, just being like, oh yeah, I know what to do. And then I was thinking about how Hope had his seizures, which the first one, because I wasn't sure that it was a seizure, I think that's the first time I really experienced a proper emotional reaction to seeing a seizure, particularly about a creature I cared about, you know, although, because I was so used to his medical issues, and I guess I still have compartmentalization, even in that situation, I did have enough detachment, like, despite all the panic, to tell Dad to film it so that I could show a vet later. And that video exists, not online. I don't really want to watch it again because I was panicking. Like, I didn't know if he was gonna die then. So it's pretty awful. But the second seizure, I think I had the panic initially just because it's like, you know, we'd been to the vet and they said, oh, he might only ever have one. But, you know, 6 hours later, he has a second one, and that's when I know there's definitely a problem. So that was the moment of panic there. But then I just went back into that mode of, you know, he's having a seizure, here's what I do. And then filming it again to show the vet again. Third seizure didn't film, but that one, like, I was able to spot it before it started. And, yeah, no real panic, just like, here we go, here's the things you do. It's just like, this is one of those, you know, in my childhood, one of these experiences that most kids don't have. And most adults don't have either. And so apart from the emotional neglect from my parents, also seeing that kind of thing, I wonder what it did to me. Like, is that part of just taking the panic away and being kind of like numb to stuff? Now in Hope's case, because I care about him, I mean, he's dead now, but because I cared about him so much, and like I was hyper vigilant for medical issues with him, and I think in the days leading up to it, I had some weird, like, I was thinking about the end of his life. So I don't know, maybe, I mean, you know, as humans, we're not really in tune with intuitive stuff, but maybe I kind of knew something was coming. I don't know. I should have made that video about all the superstitious stuff surrounding his passing, because I can't remember them all now. Anyway, so I cared about him, and that's why that had an emotional impact on me, because I don't care about much. But I sometimes think about, like, if I saw someone in public having a seizure who I didn't know, would I have any panic, or would I just be like, yep, here's what you do, or just leave it to someone else to handle? And sometimes I think about, like, if I ever came across, you know, some kind of major event, like had I been at Bondi when that schizophrenic guy was, you know, going around with the knife, how would I have reacted to that? I don't know. I mean, I've had dreams where someone's had a gun and I've just been like, oh yeah. But that's a dream, and dreams you don't really react in normal ways. I just wonder, would I panic if there was a real danger situation, or would I just be like, oh yeah, here we go. I probably should get out of harm's way. But the other thing is, if I don't enjoy life, then maybe I'd be less inclined to be cautious. On the other hand, I really dislike pain, so maybe that's what would motivate me to get out of the way. Anyway, thinking about that somehow brought me back to my birthday. And I don't know where it connects. I guess like going back to childhood. So thinking about seizures, thinking about childhood, and then thinking about birthdays and the shit with Mum the other day. And she has no idea that I feel insulted by the suggestion, just that I'm not into it. But you should have seen. I think it might have been like a Boxing Day sale, or, you know, a year or two ago. Mum bought pajama pants, and they were like these horrible Seinfeld cartoons, and she thought I'd like them, and they were on sale. She ended up taking them back and getting them something for herself, but it's just like the fact that she even thought I would like that stuff. What the heck? Like, Seinfeld's a funny show, but I find it hard to watch because things are just constantly going wrong. Actually, it's been like half an hour. I need to get the fuck to sleep, because otherwise I'm going to go on the empathy ramble. Anyway, so that's a midnight musing. First midnight musing in a while. That's about birthdays and epilepsy and seizures. Hope didn't have epilepsy. He had cluster seizures, probably caused by a brain tumor. Can I sleep now that I got that out of my head? I am not looking forward to uploading it and making sure it's all good for YouTube. Oh man. Yeah, life sucks. I haven't been doing well. I've had some breakdowns lately, and today's been shit. And no one knows how badly I'm doing. My parents completely oblivious. They act like everything's fine. Their life is fine. Mine is not. Yeah, I am not having a good life. Anyway, I better try and sleep. Good night.